Hello, Braveheart. I want to talk about being the master of your own destiny. There's a lot of nuanced variations in potential definitions mixed in with that idea to me, because our destiny may or may not be like predetermined. We may or may not have free will. A lot of it depends on how you look at things. All that said, I think that however I look at them, it makes the most sense to behave as if I can become the master of my destiny. Whether or not it's true is sort of irrelevant to the fact that that seems like the best choice to me. And I'd love to know if you've come to different conclusions. I'm aware this is an ongoing thing that we humans are trying to figure out. I think that regardless of whether there's really free will or not, regardless of whether I'm in a simulation or not, regardless of whether time-space collapses into one moment or not, all of those scenarios and many, many more that I've contemplated still lead me to think that acting as if I can become the master of my destiny is the best option. That said, let's talk about mastery a little bit. Mastery is not about never making mistakes. In fact, it's about being so comfortable making mistakes that you realize they're not really mistakes, that there's really no such thing as a mistake. And yes, a mastery gets generally pretty good at whatever it is that they're mastering and makes fewer of those rookie mistakes, right? Those beginner mistakes. They make better mistakes, and they aren't afraid to make mistakes because they know how to fix something if it goes wrong. And one of my favorite quotes about mastery is that the master has failed more times than the novice has tried. And I like to keep that in mind when I'm thinking about mastery. So I'm working on a book called The Shift, and it is about self-mastery. It's about emotional regulation, and it's about how we all have plenty of tools that we can use to develop our own self-regulation, become more and more the masters of our own destiny. And when we do that individually, then collectively we're creating a better and better future, instead of what I perceive to be sort of this downward spiral into the pit of despair. Feel me? So, to sum up, I'm writing a book called The Shift. I'm excited about it. I'm thinking a lot about how the first step of that, to take personal responsibility for our own lives, to recognize that the idea of right and wrong, the idea of good and bad, the idea that somebody has done something to us, or that something bad has happened to us, or that we have done something bad to others, it's not that those aren't all true and valid. It's that we need to be able to hold a paradox, the opposite of that truth, at the same time, and recognize that it's only from one particular perspective that anything is right or wrong, and from a different perspective, that is no longer true. As they say, what is good for the lion is disastrous for the gazelle. Did they say that? I don't know. I'm saying it. And what's good for the gazelle could be disastrous for the lion, perhaps, in the context of if the lion is starving and doesn't get the meal. You know what I'm saying? The point is that good and bad are sort of arbitrary and dependent on context. Everything depends on context. And once you start to recognize that, it gets easier and easier not to take things so personally, not to let things get so extreme. Because here's another concept. I don't want to get into too many concepts, but the idea of coherence or authenticity, bringing yourself into your center instead of being pulled and pushed and yanked around into the extremes, from that center, from that coherent, calmer place is where you're going to make your best decisions, where you're going to call to you, where you're going to invite to you, where you're going to be able to make room for more and more of the things that you want, more and more of the experiences that you desire to experience in this life. That's my 2 cents for now. I have a lot more to say about all of that, but I'm trying to dole it out in little pieces. I'm curious to know if any of that resonates with you, if you care to share any questions or comments that come to mind as I'm yammering about that. If anything is unclear or clear, please let me know. As always, I thank you for stopping by. I thank you for being you and let me be me. I like to remind you there's not one way to do this living stuff, and you are enough just as you are, and also you can probably do a lot more than you think. So I'm here to try to inspire us all to make self-love a priority so that we can create better systems all together. And I think we have a potential to be much more fit and much more free and much more vibrant than a lot of us seem to be heading for. So I hope to inspire you towards more vibrance, toward more thriving, toward more curiosity and more courageousness. Stay fit and free. Till next time, ciao. I'll be seeing ya. Peace.